I said, I'll think about it. I'll think about it. So when they approach me, I say, okay, well, so what are you offering? What do you expect me to do? What will my responsibilities be? So when I assess it, then I tell them, okay, you know what? Sounds good. I'll get back to you. And I'll get back to you is I'll get back to you. It doesn't mean I have to necessarily get back to you. If I don't get back to you, it means that I'm not interested.
Hello everybody, welcome to Just for Women Africa. My name is Olaleko. I'm also the founder of Just for Women Africa, and today on the show we have with us Araba Koomson.
Hi.
Araba has been 14 years in the media here in Ghana, and she has a lot of experience, and we're privileged to have her on the show today. And before we start, do not forget to hit the like button, subscribe, tell your friend who knows a friend about Just for Women Africa, and let's listen to what Araba has to say. Araba, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Tell us, how does it feel working with one of the biggest radio stations in Ghana? I mean, the first private station, the first radio station to broadcast BBC to Ghana privately. I mean, I can go and say lots of first. Yeah. How does that make you feel?
It feels good. No, but honestly, I mean, I feel honored and humbled to be working at what a lot of people consider to be the leaders in the media industry, and I'm talking about the multimedia group, of which Joy FM and Joy News is a subsidiary of. So it's really a humbling experience because through the trajectory of my career, I've always wanted to work at the best places. So once I settled on journalism, I said to myself that one day I'll work at Joy FM, and it happened. And so I'm very happy that I'm working with the best of the best. It's really a humbling feeling.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, in 14 years, multimedia is 25, 26 years now, and you guys are still pushing, still going. What actually motivates you? And because I've spoken to a lot of journalists, female journalists, and they go like, the work is stressful, it's demanding. I mean, it's not an area they want to go into. But what keeps you? I mean, every morning, keep on Joy FM all the time.
I like to think that I'm someone who likes to push myself. I always want to go over and beyond what is the norm. And because Joy News, we are leaders in the news industry, if I may call it that, we always have to come up, maintain the standards and come up with things that people can also look up to and emulate. So it's not easy. It's like being the leader, and it's always never easy because people are always looking to you to follow your example, and so you always have to challenge yourself. And so it's not been easy, but it's an exhilarating feeling when you have to think every morning, okay, how do I do things differently and remain compelling, so that I can still be in the lead, and people can then follow from us, because it's a heavy responsibility. I mean, there are lots of people within the news or media industry in Ghana. I mean, hundreds or thousands of radio stations and hundreds of TV stations, and so it's important to understand the role that you play within the industry. And because we understand that we are leaders in this industry, there's a lot more responsibility on us to, first of all, maintain the standards that we've set, and also even rise beyond it. So it's always a challenge for me personally to always be thinking about how to do things differently so that my peers can follow suit.
Okay, that's quite interesting. Which brings me to my next question. There's the Ghana Institute of Journalism. There seems to be a lot of females going in there saying, oh, they're doing journalism, but actually on the ground, men, overtake women in terms of journalism. Why is that the case?
Well, I have not read any research which backs this, but the thing is that there's assumption is that a lot of people, females who go into journalism school, go there with the hopes of working with a media house where they can be, working in front of the camera rather than behind the camera. the allure of being a presenter, TV presenter, appeals to many females, so perhaps that's one reason why they prefer to go into it. What I hear is that usually when they go into journalism school, they tend to veer into PR rather than journalism. And the few that do journalism too prefer to sit in front of the camera and not go, behind the scenes, as it were. I mean, journalism, real journalism that makes an impact is a lot of work. It's hard work. It's not just about sitting in front of the camera and presenting the news. It's about thinking critically about the issues that affect people and how they're impacted by it, and how you can make a difference by telling their stories. And that doesn't come easy to a lot of people, especially women, because it involves a lot of hard work. So I can understand why they may veer into PR or prefer to sit in front of the television cameras rather than go down, pull up their sleeves and do the hard work.
Okay. Quite recently I interviewed a journalist in Nigeria, and I don't know if it's the same thing here in Ghana, but in her opinion, she felt that in Nigeria, females are underpaid, female journalists are underpaid because they're women and because they feel they cannot do the job as better as the men. Is that the same case in Ghana here?
Well, let me just reference research that was done by the Alliance for Women in Media Africa, which is a gender advocacy group made up of female journalists and media practitioners in Ghana, in collaboration with the University of Ghana. And they did a research, and what they found out was that there are fewer women in the media industry because women have peculiar needs and responsibilities. For example, a man does not have to get pregnant. When a woman gets pregnant, she obviously has to take time off, and that actually affects her output, when she's, takes time off to go and give birth and all of that. And so they realize that for men, it helps because they don't have some of these issues, if I may call it that. It helps them to push forward with their career very quickly, whereas it slows down women in their career. So perhaps from that viewpoint, you might say that women are paid less than men within the field of journalism. But in some institutions like the multimedia group Joy News, it's a merit-based system. So whether you're a female or you're a male, it depends on the effort you're putting in and what you're bringing to the table, the value that you bring, which determines your remuneration. So mostly for institutions that have structures like multimedia, men or women are paid fairly and the same. But I can understand that generally in this country, journalists are not paid well because most media houses really don't have the institutions and they're poorly funded. And so, yeah, it's not a big issue about women being paid less than men, but there are some challenges which might make these issues arise. But generally, journalists in Ghana are not very well paid unless you work in a well-structured institution. Okay.
Should women be encouraged to go into journalism? I mean, do the hard work like the way the men are doing it?
I think so. I mean, if I've been able to do it, and I know a few of my colleagues who've also, who are doing a good job within journalism, doing the hard journalism, and it's fulfilling because really, what are we? We are the voice of the people, right? And we're supposed to tell people's stories so that those in power who are decision makers and have the power to change the status quo can do so.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think women naturally they tend to be more socially conscious, and so a lot of the stories we tell are socially conscious stories. And so all women need to do is just to make up their minds that yes, we want to be able to tell the stories of people and do the hard work. The impact comes from that, and that is very fulfilling.
Okay, that's good to know. That's quite interesting. You've been in journalism for 14 years.
Actually, I've been in journalism for almost 20 years. 14 years at Joy FM, Joy News, multimedia.
Okay.
And then I think 3 years at Metro TV before that. and before Metro TV, 2 years at the Daily Dispatch newspaper. So I've done both print, television, radio, and online, all the genres.
Okay, I mean, 20 years, I mean, you did a lot of interviews. Okay, how does it feel being on the other side of the table right now being interviewed?
Well, I mean, it's a bit weird because I'm the one always asking questions. So when the spotlight is put on me, you'll be surprised. I really don't like the spotlight. And it's such an irony because I'm in an industry where the spotlight is usually on me, when the cameras are on me, when I'm presenting, for example, the editorial, you know. So, but the work I do usually now, I'm not really so much on the field now. I do more of managerial because at a point you have to also groom people, you know, to take over from you when you decide to move on. So now I'm more behind the camera. So usually when the camera is put on me, it's a bit weird. It's not.
Did you expect to last this long in journalism, 20 years on?
Well, I knew that I would be in this industry for a while, but I didn't expect 20 years to be in this industry for 20 years because my plan was that maybe after 10 years or so, I would transition into the corporate world. But you see, as I kept telling people stories and seeing the impact it was making on them, for example, if there's a community where there's no water, we tell their stories and then, you know, the authorities move in to provide them with water. You see the joy on their faces. It's so fulfilling. I guess that's what's kept me in this job for so long. When you see the fulfillment on people's faces based on the stories that you've told, which are making an impact, it's very fulfilling.
Okay, that's good. You've been with Joy FM Multimedia 14 years, 15 years.
Yeah.
Have you ever been approached by your competitor and say leave multimedia and come over and work?
All the time, because you know, when you are at the top and people are looking, especially new stations are looking to recruit, it's difficult for them to now pick people that they're now going to train. They want to hit the ground running, and so often they try to poach people who already had some experience or who are already at the top. And so yeah, I've had my fair share of people wanting to poach me, or some media houses wanting to poach me. But you know, I believe in loyalty, and I believe that if your employer is doing what you expect of them, you know, in terms of your needs, I don't see any reason to move, especially when you're at the top.
Yeah,
yes.
Sure. Okay, so what's the polite answer you give to them when they approach you?
I said, I'll think about it. I'll think about it. So when they approach me, I say, okay, well, so what are you offering? What do you expect me to do? What will my responsibilities be? So when I assess it, then I tell them, okay, you know what, sounds good. I'll get back to you. And I'll get back to you is I'll get back to you. It doesn't mean I have to necessarily get back to you. If I don't get back to you, it means that I'm not interested. If I'm really interested, I will be getting back to you quicker than you think.
Okay, that's that's an interesting response to give someone. Do they ever get back to you? Do they actually follow up after you give them a response?
Sometimes they do. Then I tell them, you know what, it's really not going to work because of A, B, C, D. So I'm grateful for, you know, reaching out to me, but I think I'm happy here.
You're happy here.
Yes.
And that's quite interesting. Okay. Can you tell us what's the future for Araba Koomson?
Well, the future. So right now, what I'm trying to do is trying to groom younger women, because obviously there are fewer women in the media industry. I am trying to identify young women who are smart and will be interested in telling stories of communities which need help in terms of social amenities and the like, so that, you know, we grow this group of young women who can now be an example to other young women, because people see you know, a lot of women in other industries and they prefer, it's glamorous, they prefer to be there rather than, you know, pulling up their sleeves and doing the hard work of journalism. But I believe that journalism is a calling, first of all, but it's also a fulfilling job when you do it right. And I want a lot of young women to be engaged in that.
Okay.
Yes. But obviously, I mean, I'm also thinking of going into farming.
Farming?
Yes, I know that is totally different from, you know,
Yeah,
what I've been doing for
I need to get my camera ready and see how about the whole.
I know. No, ever
digging
since
down.
I've been young, I've been really interested in farming, but I thought that it was, you know, it was not a feminine thing to do. I thought it was just for men and all of that. It was not glamorous again, and so I veered into journalism. So, but I mean, I've been to farms, and I just love the process of, you know, planting a seed, watching it grow, cultivating it, and it being providing food for people, you know. And so for me, that again comes back to the issue of fulfillment. That whole process for me is fulfilling. And so I've contacted a few people who are into farming. I'm doing my research, and very soon you'll see Farmer Araba on your screens.
We look forward to that. We look forward to it. Definitely. All right, Araba farming. That'll be interesting to know.
I know, right? Yes.
Okay, we're about to bring the interview to a close, and let's just play a little game before we.
Okay.
Before bring the interview to a close. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Let's see. Heels or flats?
That's a tough one because I love both heels and flats, but I would go for heels. Always a lady. Heels, yes.
Heels.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. Davido or Wizkid?
That's a hard one. But I like Davido. I mean, his music is more, you know, danceable. So yeah,
Okay.
Davido.
All right, then. Let's get Denzel Washington or Will Smith?
Denzel Washington. Obviously, he's wiser, and I mean, in his youth, he was really handsome. Will Smith is not bad, but after that slap incident.
Okay. All right, let's see. The Black Queens or the Super Falcons of Nigeria?
It's a no-brainer. The Black Queens, obviously. I'm Ghanaian, so obviously, I mean, I'm loyal to my team. The Black Queens.
The Black Queens.
Go Black Queens.
Oh, that is the next answer. Okay, let me ask you this question, but take your time and answer.
Okay.
Ghana jollof or Nigerian jollof? Nigerian jollof. I saw that coming.
No way. Have you tasted Ghana jollof? My dear, you've been in Ghana. How can you not taste Ghana jollof?
I've not tasted the Nigerian jollof and
I've tasted Nigerian jollof.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Nigeria, I think it was Abuja, some years ago, and I said I really wanted to taste their jollof. And you know, in Nigeria, you banned the import of rice.
Yeah.
So you use locally grown rice. I think that's part of the problem. The rice is not really, it's not the sauce that you put the rice in. It's the rice that makes the difference. So our rice is the differentiator. Our rice is nicer. So you can make beautiful, tasty sauce for the jollof. We can make beautiful, tasty sauce for the jollof. But at the end of the day, when we put our rice in and you taste our rice, you can definitely see the difference. It's like water and ice and heat. It's wide gap. Please, Ghana jollof for the win.
Go Ghana. Okay. Sunsets in Tanzania or sunsets in Dubai?
Well, I mean, I've heard sunsets in Tanzania are nice. I've never seen sunsets in Dubai, and Dubai is hot, so I'd go for Tanzania.
Go Africa.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, the last one. Let's see. Miss V or Ifya?
I love Ifya. I think she has her music has soul. You know, Miss V is very talented. I like her too. But I think that Ifya's music has soul, which speaks to me. So I'd go for Ifya.
Nice one. Okay, but that's been nice.
Hi.
Thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome.